Hello, live from my bedroom. It is my review for Saturday night. Welcome everyone to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. Before we get into the review, though, let's get the house cleaning out of the way. Shout out to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Saturday night, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, with all the other way, let's get into the review. So, Saturday night. I would say this was probably one of the last few remaining, really highly anticipated films for me for the remainder of the year, because I'm a huge fan of Saturday Night Live. Now, I'm by no means a huge diehard. I have not seen every single episode. I am slowly getting to that, though. Thank you, Peacock, because now I have it all at my disposal. And, I haven't been able to keep up with the show lately as much as I would have liked. I used to follow it religiously when I was much younger. But now, it's just, some things get in the way, especially on Saturday night. And, I did watch last night's episode. It was pretty good. So to see, the night before, an hour and a half before they go live on the very first episode, to see how this all transpired was very intriguing to me. And again, I was really excited to see this movie. The main thing that I really do appreciate about this movie is that running clock, where you really do feel the anxiety of getting closer to 11:30. I mean, hell, at the beginning of this movie, it goes, hey, the show doesn't go on because it's ready. It goes on because it's 11:30. And you really feel that throughout the whole entire film, where you just even when there's a moment where two people are talking and it's like a calm moment, you're just in the back of your mind going, okay, we probably need to really get going here, because, we are wasting a bunch of valuable time with this conversation. And it's nice to have that, but it really does establish, beginning on that constant anxiety that you feel with the clock ticking. It really does make you feel like you are one of the performers, and you're just like, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to pull this off. And within that, you really get this underdog mentality, because it is very much sets the stakes. And that's another good thing that this movie does. It's like an hour 50, an hour 40. So it's not completely the real, hour and a half before showtime. They do add 10 minutes of extra stuff. But it does a great job within the runtime that it has, which is much shorter than most movies now. The stakes, what is up for grabs, the character dynamics, their relationships between each other, all of that very, very well for the most part. It's established that, hey, if this doesn't go well, it's over before it even begins. It's kind of silly to think about now, because when you think about Saturday Night Live, you're like, oh yeah, it's one of the most iconic comedy shows of all time. It wasn't that way in the beginning. It was really all or nothing, and you just see Lorne Michaels going through, battling with the suits upstairs, battling with the suits across the country, and you just see him going through hurdle after hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and you just can't help but root for the guy. And it just creates this excellent atmosphere where I really loved this movie. I had a fantastic job with it. Now, this is by no means a perfect film. Now, what I loved that it was a short runtime, and it was real time for the most part. And again, for the most part, they established the character dynamics very well. Some of the characters do get cut on the chopping block, though, especially the women. I feel like none of the women performers had a really big standout performance. There is a scene with them where they're going over a sketch. But besides the woman who plays Lorne Michaels' wife, or ex-wife, for that matter, none of the others really truly stand out. Now, the cast overall is phenomenal, but the ones that you are really going to be taken away from it is the person who plays Lorne Michaels. I do not remember the actor's name, but I do know that he was the one who played the young Steven Spielberg in The Fabelmans, which is pretty funny. He's kind of getting typecast, as these leaders and who aren't very authoritative, because as Lorne Michaels is going through it, you can see there's not really there's some respect, but it's not as a boss, it's just as a person. And that's kind of how he's playing it throughout the whole entire way through. But again, the whole cast is absolutely phenomenal. The guy who plays Chevy Chase is the real standout. He probably still the show. Dylan O'Brien does a fantastic performance as well. Again, a lot of the guys, you're just like, wow, that's really good, because the guys are actually given work to do. As for the women, they have moments for sure. But yeah, as the clock is ticking though, and as we get into those later parts where, there are some hard decisions that need to be made, and also some things that happen. it does get a little bit unbelievable, because if all of these things happen in this said night the way that it happened, I swear Lorne Michaels would have been the perfect quarterback in the fourth quarter with 1 minute left, because as it gets closer and he's starting having to make decisions, it is very cutthroat and just super locked in. Like, there is a great scene where, like, you know, the whole time they're like, okay, we have about 3 hours and we need to condense it to an hour and a half. You're going to have to cut some things. And, you know, he's trying to avoid it. There are some people trying to get him, and, you know, he just makes those decisions. Okay, this is getting cut. This is happening. This is what we're going to do. Sorry that it couldn't work out. But, pleasure doing business with you. Boom, moved on. He loses someone, and then, you know, he hires one of the most iconic writers that is really resembled within Saturday Night. And the fact that he apparently hired this writer, like, with 45 minutes until live show air, and he's having to rewrite the show, it's kind of unbelievable. And also, you know, the Weekend Update segment where, you know, the first one was Chevy Chase. And that decision is kind of made 5 minutes before air, and I'm just like, okay, all right, it's cool. Like, he's like making all these decisions, but it is a little bit unbelievable. I also kind of would have liked if they would have had like a clock at the top right, kind of like a 24, where you just see the clock ticking. Now they do, you know, constantly cut to, hey, it's 10 p.m. Okay, now it's 10:15 p.m. Like, you know, a bunch of crazy stuff happens. Like, wow, that was only the first 15 minutes. And it's like, okay, now it's 10:45. Now it's 11. Now it's 11:15. So on and so forth. And you, again, when they do show the time, you're like, oh crap, man, they need to hurry up and figure this out and lock on in as it's continuing on. But the main thing that's going to take away from this film to me is the runtime and the cast itself, and how they just really did the best with what they were given. And I honestly think, to me personally, this may be the best live action movie of the year so far. Now, I don't know if this is my favorite movie of the year, because hell, there's the Wild Robot and Inside Out 2 are just really up there for me. But I do think Saturday Night has probably beat out Dune 2 as my favorite live action movie. If I had to rank this on the lemon scale, would it go sour lemon, expired store-bought lemonade, store-bought lemonade, lemonade in the middle, freshly squeezed lemonade, and strawberry lemonade at the very top, because that's the best kind of lemonade, I would say Saturday Night is a strawberry lemonade. I really cannot recommend this movie enough. I had a great time with it. Yeah, sure, some of the things become unbelievable, but that is just, you know, part of the movies. Every biopic that's made takes liberties on how things are made. I mean, the latest one I could think of is Bohemian Rhapsody. They took a lot of liberties within that movie when you actually go back and you look up the history of that band. And I'm sure Saturday Night, that was another thing that this movie did. It made me want to look up that first night and see what was really true and what was not. And, you know, I didn't even talk about some of the other performances that come in here. You know, you have J.K. Simmons coming in, William Dafoe. They also have great performances in this movie, but it's really the cast that's actually within the Saturday Night crew is the one that truly stands out to me. So yeah, to me, it's a Strawberry Lemonade. It's probably my favorite live action movie of the year. Let me know what y'all think about it. Comment below, let me know. If you made it this far, please leave a like. I would greatly appreciate that. And hit that subscribe button, as more content is heading your way very soon. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.